Hey Money Guy family, it's your host Brian Preston, back with another episode of Ask the Money Guy.
That's right. You guys have financial questions. We've got your financial answers. Go out to your favorite social, use the hashtag #AskTheMoneyGuy, leave a comment in the comments below, or go directly to our website, moneyguy.com, and ask a question right there.
It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
So Brian, today's one I think that gets confused very often, and here's the way the question always goes. What's the difference in a mutual fund and an ETF, or an exchange-traded fund?
And thing is, I think people get confused in the fact that they think it has to be an either or, whereas you can actually use both of these powerful tools in your walk towards financial independence and becoming an empire builder. Bo, can I give them an overview of what is the actual technical definition of a mutual fund and what's the definition of an ETF?
So a mutual fund is actually a pool of different investments. So if you think about like a stock mutual fund, rather than you having to go out and buy a bunch of different individual stocks, you can buy a single mutual fund that actually holds those stocks. So rather than you having 100 holdings, you could have one single holding that has access to all of those. And you can do that across stocks, you can do it across bonds, you can do it across alternative type investments.
Real estate.
Real estate.
You can do it pretty much anything. But international.
It's essentially a pooled investment vehicle that allows you to get greater diversification than if you were buying a single security on its own.
And then exchange traded fund, we keep calling it ETF, but that's actually the acronym. So walk them through what an exchange traded fund is.
An exchange traded fund is actually very, very similar. It is also a basket or a pool of securities that is managed where instead of having to go buy all of the different securities or all of the different individual investments, you just buy the one singular ETF or exchange traded fund. It operates very similar to a mutual fund. However, there are some unique differences.
Well, it is also, exchange traded funds are typically index funds. So
that's right.
You're buying a basket of a predetermined, like the S&P 500 or, you know, the small cap index with the Russell 2000 and things like that. There is a difference there, but let's talk about how you use these and what those differences are. First thing, this is a big one, and it's a blessing and a curse, is that ETFs can actually trade intraday just like a stock does.
And if you don't know this, mutual funds only trade once a day, and they trade at the end of the day at what's called their net asset value. So unlike all of those different securities, all of those different holdings being valued once at the end of the day, ETFs are constantly priced and constantly traded throughout the course of the trading day.
So think about that. With a mutual fund, an open-ended mutual fund, which is what most mutual funds are, when you place your trade at 10 in the morning, it doesn't matter if you place your trade at 10 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, typically you're getting the same price
That's right.
at the end of the day. So all the panic, I like that mutual funds take out some of that panic, but it does have people, that leads to people thinking, well, you know what? I feel like, and this is the whole inefficiency marketplace where I think sometimes investors think, well, man, if I could just get a little bit of knowledge, I would like to be able to buy throughout the day, because maybe my intuition at 10 a.m. is better than if I'm selling this thing at 3 p.m. So people do like that ETFs allow them to trade throughout the day.
That's right.
But I will tell you, the curse, I think, with that is that we've seen this, and some of it, because there's so much electronic trading now and this micro trading that's going on, that you see some inefficiencies in the marketplace on ETFs.
That's
so
right.
you have to be very careful. That intraday trading can be a blessing in the fact that it is nice that you have instant liquidity, but it also can be a curse in the fact that because people are trading it throughout the day, that there might be some inefficiencies with that.
So how they trade is a big difference. The other really big difference between mutual funds and ETFs is actually how they're treated from a taxation standpoint.
Yeah, there's a big thing, and this is something you need to pay attention to at year end, which we're quickly approaching since we are now in September, as well as when you have an extended bull market, is that mutual funds can retain unrealized gains and losses. And it's not hard for you to go on the internet and use sites like Morningstar, and you can see how much embedded gain a mutual fund has or how much embedded loss if we've just been through a bear market. And that can be a plus and a minus for you. There's also a lot of mutual funds will issue income at year end. And it can be a big, a shock and awe moment on your tax preparation. ETFs don't carry those built-in gains. So,
exactly right.
So that's why we say if you were investing at year end, it might make sense to look at ETFs because they're not going to have that year-end distribution like a mutual fund will from the entire year that you're going to pay taxes on when you only start participating at year-end. It's also something I always like, after Now, I say this and you're like, well, gosh, I should always just do ETFs. But think about this. Markets go through 2 recessions typically every decade. Sometimes, there are times we've seen it, Bo, after the 2008 crisis. You're crazy if you're not buying mutual funds that have embedded losses in them of like 15 to 20%, because you could essentially buy into those mutual funds, have the market go up that 10, 15, 20%.
Not pay any taxes.
Not pay any taxes on it, because they're going to just keep rolling. Now, look, you have unrealized appreciation. You're going to pay taxes, obviously, when you sell on that. I'm just saying, within the portfolio, you might be able to have some appreciation without a big tax bill.
So the question then becomes, should I be a mutual fund investor or should I be an ETF investor?
Or is there a hybrid approach where you're actually doing both? And I think all of them do. And I will tell you, in our day-to-day practice of being wealth managers, we actually use both.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be an either or. It can actually be, let's go use it. Depends upon your particular situation, what you're facing as an individual investor, and maximizing the benefits that each one of these great tools offers you.
That's right. This was a great question. If you have a great question or there's something in the financial world you're curious about, go out to your favorite social, use the hashtag AskTheMoneyGuy, or go to our website, moneyguy.com, or leave a comment in the comments below, and we'll be happy to address your questions right here in the Tesla.
Brian Preston, Bo Hansen, Money Guy team out.